All righty, welcome back to the episode of Two Plane Sports, an emergency podcast for the commitment of Wyatt Gilmore. Another guy on board joins the squad in the 2024 class, and per usual, Brandon is pumped. He says it does not suck. He's playing with his post-it notes.
Yeah, but that was muted. It doesn't suck.
It does not suck. Before we start talking about Wyatt Gilmore, what he brings, be sure to like, subscribe, turn the notification bell on. Follow us on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, Apple, Spotify, and TikTok. Everything's linked in the description below. So obviously, as you can tell by the news on Twitter, Instagram, all that stuff, and our video title, Wyatt Gilmore has committed to Oklahoma, is the newest commitment in the 2024 class. Being recruited as a defensive end, played tight end also in Rogers, Minnesota, where he's from. Big time addition. It seems like that this one was a long time coming after being at the Champy Barbecue. Cristobal's came flying in for him in favor of Oklahoma, even after he went and took other visits elsewhere. Jose, what do you think about Wyatt Gilmore? What does he bring? I think he's a good addition and kind of a guy that is very versatile and someone that fits the mold of what Oklahoma's looking for.
Yeah, this is going to be, I think, really important for Rondell Bothroyd. Like what we see out of Rondell this season, assuming he plays well and stays healthy, that's what I think we should expect from Wyatt Gilmore. He has very similar skill sets when you just look at his high school tape and compare it to Rondell at Wake Forest. They're very disciplined. They don't really over pursue. They keep the blockers off of him pretty well. And what I really loved about Wyatt when I was watching all his highlights from his sophomore and his junior year, that dude hustles down the field. Even if he knows that the guy might be a little bit faster, he's not gonna just you can tell he's not letting anything. He's not letting his foot off the gas. He's going all in, trying to make the tackle, trying to make the play for his defense, and it shows. And Brandon brought up a good point when we were watching it kind of together. Every time there was a defensive play, it was either like a hustle play where he was going down the field, and if he had pressure in the backfield, he was knocking the ball out. That's going to be important. It's better to have the ball more often than not in football.
Yeah, I mean, he definitely attacks the ball. It's fun to have him. I think his versatility is the key, as Brum mentioned. I mean, he's a dude who's got a very athletic build at 6'4", 240. According to his 24/7 page, there's a highlight video on there of his junior year. He's a strong dude too, benching 350. I think he squatted almost 500, cleaned almost 300. So he's a guy that brings that to him. But his overall athleticism, I think, is going to be the key here, and his ability to play tight end too. He's going to have a knack for getting to the ball, and if he can't get to the ball, he's going to be able to read a quarterback a little better than maybe most defensive ends, and he's going to be able to knock a ball down or to even intercept a pass. I mean, you look at his junior season, the dude finished with 17 TFLs, 4 sacks, a pick, a couple forced fumbles. Fumble recovery. He just knows how to be around the ball, get to the ball, live in the backfield, and I think his ball skills is largely attributed to his ability to play both sides. It makes sense. I'm excited to have him. He should be a good fit for the Sooners. The more the merrier. More. You're muted, Dave.
Muted.
Thank you. We always want more commits. There's never enough. We always want more, as many as possible. But looking at this, it seemed like that this was a commitment that was a long time coming. Going way back whenever his recruitment started, there was a time where it seemed like, was Wyatt Gilmore similar to Xavier Robinson? Is he a take in this class? Does Oklahoma really want him? And ultimately, obviously, they chose that they do want him, and then he wanted to play for Oklahoma. And I think part of why he became so important in his recruitment for Oklahoma is it seemed like Ja'Shawn Ross was really trending towards Oklahoma and has since seemed to, at least recently trend away from Oklahoma for whatever reason. And I think it's because of Wyatt Gilmore. They must have really liked what they saw in Gilmore because obviously they like Williams-Nwaneri and a few others there. But Wyatt Gilmore became one of the guys that they wanted the defensive end spot. And it became abundantly apparent that Oklahoma wanted him bad. So when you look at his recruitment, he came off an official from K-State, or I guess you go way back. You go to Miami, Then you go to Minnesota, then a midweek visit to K-State. Then he has the Champion Barbecue to Oklahoma. And then he was slated to go visit not Oklahoma. Gosh, I can't even talk. Visit Oregon, but that never actually ended up happening. He officially canceled, not officially, but it was reported that he canceled his visit to Oregon, never made it out there. After his Champion Barbecue visit, Cristobal's came flying in. When you put 2 and 2 together, it seemed like Oklahoma was the ultimate landing spot for Gilmore. And that is great. And I think someone that Chavis will develop. And I think this is also a guy that, as more film gets put out on him, I think he's bound to rise just because he's from the state of Minnesota. There's not a lot of great Division I talent that comes out of that state that leaves, the Gophers.
Brock Lesnar. Oh, damn it. He did not leave the Gophers.
But I think he has room to grow. I mean, 247 has him as a 4-star when you just look at their ratings.
I think Brock is also not from Minnesota. My bad. Go ahead.
His weight is different on different platforms. 247 has him at 240. I think Rivals has him at 250. So probably somewhere in there. Who knows? He might be getting closer to 260 by the time he gets to college. And depending on the pounds that Schmitty makes him either lose or gain, but when he enrolls. But yeah, I agree about the ranking. Like, it's the fact that he is in a state where not really known for producing very much football talent at this point. That could definitely be holding him back a little bit. That probably doesn't get anywhere near the 5-star rankings, but he would be like a really solid 4-star where some people may start saying, all right, this guy should be climbing higher, should be a top 15 at his position, that kind of thing. He's, at the end of the day, by the time he gets to school, he's going to have a lot of competition to go up against. And will he stay on the edge, or will at some point, will he be big enough that they ask him to kick into the interior?
He's definitely not big enough now, and I feel like if you bulk a guy up that big, right, he stands at 240 right now, according to 247. So if you got to think to play inside at the D1 level, especially at the SEC, you got to be around at least 275, 280, which, I mean, it's doable to add that 35, 40 pounds, but I think with the guy as athletic as he is and with the ball skills that he has, I think it would be a disservice to his game almost to move him inside. I feel like you're taking away a lot of what he can do, taking away a lot of playmaking ability. Not to say that defensive tackles are not playmakers. I mean, you look at what Ndamukong Suh did at Nebraska and in the league, and Gerald McCoy and Aaron Donald is probably one of the most dynamic playmakers in the league today. But for the most part, they're not making, the athletic plays that the guys on the edge are making, or, picking off passes or things like that. And I feel like with a guy like Gilmore, with his skill set, I feel like it wouldn't make much sense to move him inside. But I mean, I agree with you. There's going to be a lot of competition there on the edge. So we shall see what they decide to do ultimately.
And, with him playing tight end, like you said, Brandon, he's got great ball skills. If someone takes the time and goes and watches highlight tape, there's a lot of great plays he made as a tight end. Now on 247, I wasn't really able to find his statistics when it came to him as a receiver, unless you guys did. But it looked like he, scored a lot, racked up quite a few yards, and played well. And obviously Oklahoma wants him on the defensive side of the ball. But, if he does ultimately get buried on, the defensive line, Oklahoma right now on this current roster is awfully thin, in the tight end room. So I'm not saying that he could, he will switch or he could, but, it's kind of one of those deals that maybe they give him the option that, while he's being predominantly recruited on the defensive side of the ball, but what happens in an emergency situation? They need someone. Well, he might be able to, go to the other side of the ball. There's a trend with all the guys, when you look at Jacoby Johnson and DJ Graham. I know they didn't recruit DJ Graham, but they've got guys where they can go play both sides of the ball. They're being recruited on predominantly one side, but you have the athletic ability that if you had to, you could go play the other side. And I think that's why Wyatt fits what Venables and his staff is looking for and why he fits at Oklahoma. and why fans should be excited for him.
Yeah, we'll see. I'm hung up on this interior versus exterior. I just think he could be really good because he played both. He played all over the line. I do agree. Brandon, I think, made a really good point. Like, you don't want to take away his athleticism by putting on so much weight on him that he's too heavy on his feet. If he can get up to like 280 though, he could be pretty dangerous. Like Jalen Redmond. Like Jalen in the interior was nasty when it came to trying to make plays in the backfield. But he just had his injury issues. We'll just have to see what happens with Wyatt.
The key is the fact that he's just going into his senior year of high school. So he very well could grow into 250, 260 and might very well make the decision before he even gets to Oklahoma just because he fills out more. But you never know. So, and obviously there's conflicting reports where you said Rivals has him at 250 and 247 has him at 240. So, just depends on where he's at. But that's all we got. I mean, obviously excited, glad to add another defensive piece. I think someone that might have been a little overlooked, but obviously a great addition. Do you guys have any final thoughts, or Brandon, do you have an in the video challenge? Or I guess these are pretty easy.
These are always the same, yeah. Just your Wyatt Gilmore thoughts. Good day to be a Sooner. It's always fun to get more, more commitments. 2024 class coming in hot. What's your Wyatt Gilmore thoughts?
Yep, things are looking up. Things are trending really well for Oklahoma, and can't complain. So
they don't suck.
They don't suck. Be sure to like the video, subscribe to the channel, turn the notification bell on, follow us on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, Apple, Spotify, and TikTok. Everything's linked in the description below, and we'll catch you guys next time.